Hi, this is just a quick look at the differences between a branded drill. This is a Bosch 24 volt drill, and this is a cheap Chinese Workshop Pro branded drill. Both 24 volt drills, both 2-speed gearbox with hammer action. This one, the gearbox is knackered in it and the speed controller died. This one, as you can see, I've already taken them apart. The magnet in the motor shattered, and I've tried gluing it back together and sticking it back in, but it's pretty much impossible to get it exactly straight and right and get it to work again. So just before I scrap them, I thought I'd just show you what was inside. As I say, I've already taken them apart. This is the cheap one, this is the gearbox and the chuck. It's got a planetary gearbox in there, and that's another bit of it that fell out. All metal gears in this one, all metal cogs. This is what's left of the motor out of it, because I tried to take the magnets out of it to see if they were the same size, but they were not. These go either side of this, so that would be in the middle of those. Magnets would be stuck to the outside of this. As you can see, I'll compare it to the Bosch one. So both 24 volt motors. I should think you can see there's a bit of a size difference. There's the outer casing. Back end of it's still in the drill attached to the speed controller. You'll see that this has got proper sprung brushes like you'd find in a a 240 volt drill, or mains powered drill, and these possibly replaceable, whereas the cheaper motor has got these just sort of a copper spring with a, the brushes look quite damaged on this as well. I'm sure this won't focus because it's crap, but the brushes even look damaged, and I think this has only had very little use really. So that's that. Both got a metal cog on the end. The Bosch gearbox, we'll do a size comparison. Most of that's chuck on that one, but yeah. So the gearbox, this bit's empty. That's where the motor goes in. This one's actually got plastic gears in it, and it's got 5, the other one's got 4, with sort of planetary gears in there. That's where the gearbox thing, 1 and 2 selection, moves that up and down, and moves something we probably can't see in there. They've both got a clutch mechanism, hammer action, battery shape slightly different. This one doesn't say how many amp hours, it's probably 1.3. This one is covered in plaster. 1.5 amp hour, 24 volt. Speed controller. Bosch has a single unit, which you can't read the writing on. It's 15 to 24 volt DC, 20 amp. The Chinese one, which is blown up, is a separate transistor on a heatsink up here. That is rated 9.6 to 24 volt, 12 amps written on it. That's just, I thought I'd show you some of the differences inside these two drills. that one and the Chinese plastic one. Yeah, there you go. Just while I was trying to get the gearbox, the chuck off this Bosch gearbox, the gearbox comes apart again. So that's your first bit of plastic gears. It's pretty low torque down in where the motor is. Then there's more planetary gears. That's pretty cool. And then there's this ring, which goes onto this lumpy ring here. That creates your hammer action. So either that or the clutch thing. I think it's the hammer action. It lifts that up. Might be the clutch, I don't know. Then because this chuck, you don't hold the two rings of it. Like this one, you'd hold this ring and then you could tighten the outer bit. And that would turn. And you hold that still and you turn that. This one, the drill is locked solid. The chuck is, when the drill is not running, it's solid. So when this is turning, it'll turn the thing. It'll turn the drill. But when the motor isn't turning this will be stationary. So you can tighten the chuck and untighten it. And that's done. So more of this Bosch drill gearbox came apart. This bit came off here, like this. And there's another planetary gearbox in here. And this ridged area, which I think is either the clutch or the, so you got for numbers for how the torque settings, and then it's either maybe the hammer setting. So this ring goes on those ridged bits, and then this is kind of clever because this chuck has just got this single bit to tighten and loosen it, unlike the other one where you hold that and turn that, which is stuck. But anyway, see, that still spins freely, whereas this one doesn't spin freely. It only turns, so it'll turn here like that, but you can't turn it from that end. And that is because of this clever thing in here. These 4 pins on here push these precisely sized things. I think they push these out the way, or they push this. What do? They push that so it'll turn, or they push this so it'll turn. Oh, if it's not pushing both equally, it locks, I think. Maybe that's it. Let's put it on there again. Whoop. Lost a gear. Let's get rid of all of them. There we go. Put it back in there. Right, so now it's turning it. So you take it out. They're lined up. So I think it has to push this equally with those. I would say. If it does, yeah, if it doesn't push them equally. I'm trying to put 2 things in there. Near impossible. All these pins are loose and lock it. Yeah, I thought they might be. Yeah, they're kind of loose and they lock it. No, it's precisely sized. So these pins are precise size to fit here, and they're just loose. And if they move, if they're not pushed around with this, unless they're kept exactly in position, it won't turn. You see, it locks, and if I move it, it locks. So those pins are just free in there. Probably just take them out. Yeah, so they're just a very precisely sized. So take them out. It'll just spin from both ends. So that's kind of interesting. Sort of precision part of it. Whereas the other drill doesn't have that. It just turns anyway. That did have some gears on. That was another planetary gearbox thing. So let's take that off and look what's in this one. Got the same ridge thing, far less ridges, and then ball bearings just set into the plastic. Don't seem to be sprung. So whether was that the hammer bit? No, that's not the hammer bit. That's the clutch bit. Because the hammer bit, put it on hammer, still there. Take it off hammer, move freely. So that's all to do with the clutch bit. Quite how the clutch ring relates to that. Maybe it depends how far this is pushed in or out against these, how hard the ring is pushed against these. Let's take that out. Look what's in there. So yeah, that's just the end of the spindle. And there's going to be a hammer thing in there. A ridged bit to make the hammer. And all this one does, put it into hammer. So that's in hammer, yeah. That's still got the... Ooh, more shit's fallen out. This thing's fallen off. That's that ridged piece, which must be pushed, presumably by this. Maybe it pushes it harder against the other ridged piece. That bit of this thing fell off. And we're pretty much at the same stage now. And something a ball bearing fell out. There you go. So it's, and again, Bosch one's slightly better made. Well, probably quite a lot better made. This is aluminium, this is plastic. This failed. This gearbox didn't fail. The motor failed on the Bosch because it got dropped, I presume, and the magnet shattered inside the motor, which, as you can see, I've tried gluing together, but never gonna happen. So this cheap gearbox and drill the chuck would not come off, so I resorted to cutting it off with a grinder. Maybe I'll unscrew, push out, I don't know how it goes in. So that, then we are to the hammer mechanism. So I've taken the screws out of this thing. There they are, slightly grinded on the head. The ring off. Then we've got this thing. So that was the spindle we saw at the other end. That's the ridges of the hammer thing. And that's the other ridges. And they push together and you get your hammer action. Sorry about the terrible camera work and crap commentary, but there you go. So that's in there. The ridges go together and it hammers, so you can use it for drilling bricks and stuff. So there. Well, there you go. It's all in pieces.